Welcome to Reality Check Podcast with Naomi and Rei. So, I guess we should just kind of like dive in, right? So, you and I had outside of this, we're talking about Kate, Ty, and Carly, right? That's one of the most sensitive topics out
I mean,
there.
my comment section is so divisive. It's one of the craziest comment sections I've ever had.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
I
Because
think
there's
it's
so many
crazy.
sides to it.
Yeah,
You have the perspective of the adopted parents, perspective of the birth parents, and then the adoptees themselves. And
exactly.
everyone's situation is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I think the only dangerous thing is that um people tend to like internalize what they see, right? Because either they have been through adoption in the sense of they've been adopted, or they have adopted a child, or
Exactly.
or they were a person that placed their child up for adoption. So everyone has like their own story in a sense, but because of that they're like internalizing.
Did you see that
Kate,
1-minute video about me?
no.
Oh my God. I had to block her. We were going back and forth. She didn't want to hear nothing I had to say. It was just about her. She was like internalizing it to the T.
What was she saying?
So basically, she was saying how she's an adoptee. I don't know what they call it, transracial adoptee. Basically, she's a black woman and she was adopted by white parents.
Okay.
And how her white parents abused her and didn't teach her about her culture and things like that. And she was basically painting Brennan and Teresa as villains, just like her adopted parents. And I'm like, I don't think this is that situation. Even Tyler admitted Carly is not in danger. She's okay. Brennan and Teresa are good parents. This is
Right.
not the same situation.
Right. It's
And
very
then
different.
she was bringing up other stuff like when white parents adopt like black baby. It was like a whole thing. I was like, listen, this is too much. This is not the same situation. I'm sorry. I
No.
hate to break it to you, but
And I mean, that's so sad, right? Like, so sad for her that that's her story. Like, that's her story
exactly.
of adoption. And, God bless if you want to be able to share that with people like your story, and maybe other people have been through that and you guys can like relate together. But
Hmm.
comparing your story to Carly's story they're very completely,
Exactly.
there's different
At the
things.
end of the day, that's your story. That is not Carly's story.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Wow, I can't believe she was, like, really fighting with you
I
on
mean,
TikTok?
going great. Yeah, on TikTok, she made a whole video, and then I made another response video, and she was arguing with me in my comments. So then I had just ended up blocking her because I was getting violations. I was like, nah, I'm just gonna block her. Yeah.
Wow, that's
I was getting,
wild.
yeah.
Yeah, I would've blocked her too. Anytime that somebody, like, tells me something, they're literally looking for an argument, I'm like, "Okay, I'm blocking you." Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like, you're not willing to just having a discussion. I tell my followers all the time, "You wanna have a discussion, even if we have, difference of opinion, I'm down."
That's
But
no
the
problem.
moment that you start getting, like, feisty, angry, and, like, name calling and
What? I mean, she was just arguing me down. I'm like, listen, lady, I'm sorry for what you've been through, but you're not Carly. The
Right,
only person who can speak up for themselves is not speaking up for themselves.
right. No, facts.
We don't
I
know how she feels. We don't know what she's going through. But from
I
what
think
we
sh
know, oh, go
Mhm,
ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
From what we know, Tyler has admitted that Brennan and Teresa are great parents. Their only problem is that they closed the adoption. That's their
Mhm,
issue.
mhm. Yeah, and I right now, like, Carly's gonna be 17 in a couple months,
Whoa, 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 whoa.
right?
I'm getting
17
old.
in a couple months? Or am I
Oh no,
tripping?
I'm getting old. I
Am
thought she
I
was
am
only
I
16.
am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I don't know. What, she was born 2009?
The kids were born in 2009. I'm gonna pull up my calculator because
So
I wanna
she's
make sure that my
16.
math is mathing. 2009 minus 2025. Oh, no, my bad. She'll be 16. My
Mm.
bad.
I was about to say, girl.
I wasn't sure. I was like, well, May's coming up, so maybe she'll be 17?
I was like, even though it's a 1 year difference, I was like, no, I'm aging. No, I don't want to hear that. Oh my god.
I felt like I every time that these kids like have like a birthday or something coming up, I'm like, wow, like I'm old. I'm
Right.
feeling old.
No, I want to talk
I'm
about a moment where, oh my god, this is an embarrassing moment.
Let's talk
But
about it.
why was I jealous of the Teen Mom kids? Bentley getting a whole Jeep and Lena getting a brand new Nissan while my car is out there breaking. I was like, oh my god, I gotta step it up in life.
Oh my god, yes. Like literally, I remember like I asked like because I grew up with my grandparents, right? So I remember asking like my nana because in like the Hispanic culture, they do like quinceañeras and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
My nana was like, "You ain't getting no quinceañera." Like, what is wrong?
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't get that stuff. So, like on my 16th birthday, she dropped me off at like a Safeway, and I applied. She had me apply.
A gas station?
It's like a grocery store.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, girl. And back then we had like the taxis, right? So I had to
Mhm.
taxi my way back home.
Oh, no, that was diabolical. Why would she do that? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, having Haitian parents, they did the same thing to me.
Yeah,
They never celebrated any of my birthdays. I had
really.
to learn, like, my 16th birthday is when I first started celebrating, like, on my own. I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna take control of my own birthdays. I'm gonna go celebrate."
Right. Yeah. That's
Like,
crazy.
they did
Or
not
were they
care about
just
my
more like,
birthdays.
we want you to I think it's just because, like, are they so it could have been, right? Because sometimes people that are like old school, right, or like very in their culture, they don't want you to want for anything. Like they want you to work hard to
Yeah,
earn
and I
stuff.
hate it. I hate it. Because I swear growing up that my parents were poor, not even close. They had
Girl,
money this whole I'm like, "So we're not poor and y'all had money? You just wanna make me
okay.
suffer?" Like, what? And now that they're older, now they wanna help me and stuff like that. I mean, I'll take it, but, like,
Right.
why
But
do I have to
you're
suffer
like,
as a kid?
where were you? Yeah, like
I didn't even get to enjoy my childhood.
but I get it when you're saying like looking back at these kids having these nice cars, like having the nice things.
Mhm.
I It really makes me wonder, and I'm sure that they do, right? But it really does make me wonder how how these kids grew up with cameras and how they have been able to like genuinely stay humble.
Yes. I am very surprised. Like, Bentley, that is a respectful young man.
Very, right?
I was very shocked. I was like, "Wow." He really
Yeah.
like, the way he said thank you multiple times when he got that car, no, he has a lot like, Macy did a good job. That's why she's one of my favorite teen moms. She did a
Yeah.
really good job raising that young man.
Yeah, she wasn't kidding when she was like being strict with stuff. Like she's
Yeah.
legit.
Oh my
But like she did good. But and it makes me it sometimes it makes me like kind of sad because had had Teresa and Brandon and Caitlin and Tyler had like an amicable um
relationship.
relationship. I'm like, how what can I say here? But
Mm,
yeah, had they had like that amicable relationship where they were able to, together, like come together for Carly, right? It would have been nice to be able to see that kind of stuff. Now, granted, still protecting her, I understand not wanting to show her face or whatever,
exactly.
fine. But being able to like see those moments or then being able to be a part of that moment, I feel like I'm kind of being selfish in that sense where I'm like, I
Yeah.
just because
'Cause for
I
me,
would
I don't need to see it. It's okay.
really? I would have loved to see it. I think for me, I just would have loved to see a good relationship for the bio parents and the adoptive parents to be able to come together for the child. You know what I'm saying? Like for open adoption, right? Things are different. Things are different for everyone. Not everything is the same. Closed adoptions, I'm sure that's not even like they're not even thinking about their birth parents or anything like that, you know? But I
Exactly.
am curious um I'm still curious either way to have been like, man, like that would have been cool, right? To just to see again, we wouldn't have had to see her face or anything like that, or
Oh,
get
like
too
to see the dynamic. Okay, I get what you mean.
right.
Like see the
Yeah,
dynamic between the two.
exactly.
Yeah, because I think that would have helped a lot of people who are in a similar situation,
Mhm.
like both adoptive parents and birth parents and adoptees actually, to see their relationship. Okay, like for example, with Cheyenne's co-parenting relationship, a lot of people give her praise because, for example, my parents were terrible at co-parenting. They were beefing the entire I mean, still to this day they're beefing. So I didn't get to see that good co-parenting relationship, but with Cheyenne and the way she is with Corey and Zach, we get to see that.
Right.
But so I understand what you're saying with Caitlyn and Tyler and seeing their that dynamic with Brandon and Teresa. I get it.
Yeah, like, and just keeping that privacy, respecting boundaries, but also being able to, as you said, like just see that dynamic. It would have been nice. And I think that I'm
Mhm.
sure that there's other families that have that. And I'm not saying that I'm sure that's what Tyler and Caitlin and Teresa and Brandon all wanted, but it just seems like it just didn't pan out that way. And I think that a lot of it had to do with TV.
Yeah, exactly. Because TV back in the day and just social media in general is not the same today. Which
No.
maybe I don't know, but on TikTok, you say one bad take and people are on your neck. They're finding your address. They're doxing you. It's crazy on here. That's what I was trying to explain to Caitlin and Tyler. This is a
Mhm.
whole different world on here.
Yeah.
Even social media on in 2015 is not the same social media in 2025. I promise you.
No,
Not the
even then,
same.
they were, like, writing letters back then. People
Oh,
don't
so
write
they were
letters
still
anymore.
going crazy back in the day.
Well, no, like, people back then, like, when it came to celebrities, right? Like, celebrities, you'd write them letters, like, to, like, their PO box or their addresses or whatever, like, that used to be, like, the
Mhm.
thing, right? You'd send them, like, an email or a letter. Now
Oh,
you
I
have
hate that.
people, like, in your DMs, like,
In your
consist
comments,
in the comments.
pulling up to your house. Like,
Yep,
it's
pulling up.
crazy.
Yes, it's not the same.
And then even I want to tell Tyler about this. There's a guy named Yuval on TikTok, and
Uh-huh.
just based off your background, he could find your house or where your location is.
That's creepy.
It's so creepy, but he's done this multiple times. Like that's where he got like his popularity. It's very creepy.
I
And there
don't
was
like
another guy on here. I don't know if you remember that Nurse Hannah situation, and
I've
also with Ashley Trevino.
I've heard about I've heard of Ash Trevino and, the nurse girl, I've heard, like, of her, but I don't really know her story too much.
Oh, okay. It was like this weird, creepy guy who found their exact address just based off her video. He found where the husband works, found where she worked, found the exact house that she lives in based off what they call it, the kitchen island and the lights. I'm like, bro, you don't understand. The
What?
internet is dangerous. That's why I understand when people don't want to go on the internet, when people don't want to have a public life. Like, I totally understand it because this stuff is scary.
That is very creepy, and it
I'm
like, at
telling you.
first I was like, I recently started sharing, like, my background, like, but before I was just always covering my background because I
Me
was, like,
too.
so scared of that stuff.
That's what I was trying to explain to Caitlin and Tyler, basically like the dangers of the internet
Mhm.
on why they shouldn't do this. Because it might not be you, you might not be sending your fans to do this, but they will do this. Like
Right.
just to protect you. Like these parasocial relationships that people create, like people will go to extreme lengths.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard of AMP, like Kai Sanat and all of them. The amount of
No.
people that like I think they've gotten their house broken into, or like a whole bunch of randoms just always pulling up to their house, so, to the point that they have to find another house to live in and get security outside. Like this stuff
Mhm.
is serious, and y'all have millions of followers. Y'all are on TV. Like
Yeah.
this is why you do not want to put her in this situation. I
Mhm.
understand you want to share your story, but at what cost of sharing your story? The story's out there. What more do you need to share?
Yeah, but do you I think the reason why they share, right, is because they originally started, and you and I have had this discussion where they originally started with 16 and Pregnant. It was just supposed to be a documentary. No one knew it was going to be what it was, right?
Mhm.
And so MTV kept Tyler and Caitlyn because their story was different from everyone else's, right?
Exactly.
And so because of that, right, years down the road, everybody's like, well, they don't have a storyline. All their storyline is Carly. But I think other people have to remember, like, MTV is that's why they're keeping them on, right? Because MTV is saying, okay, well, have you heard from Carly? Or I'm pretty sure, just like Kale, in this last episode, when she was like, oh, like, what about Carly? Blah blah blah, right? And she had
Yeah.
like no idea, so she looked stumped when she was like, oh, we're not supposed to, right? And I think that that's kind of like production pushing the ask about this, ask about, because that is their story.
No, I do agree. I think what they did on TV is okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about what they did last year. I believe what happened? Teresa had canceled the visit, so then that's when Caitlyn started going online. And
Okay, yeah,
what's on TV right now is what happened in September around those months. It was already
right,
recorded and filmed.
right.
So I'm talking about that time period when they started going online, when they started doing those long Instagram posts and all of that. I think
Okay,
that's more dangerous than what they've been doing on TV. Because for the
okay.
longest, they were doing pretty well on TV, but it was
Mhm.
when she crashed out and has ever since been crashing out online.
Oh my God. So stop it. So so in the okay, you're saying it's her rants that she's giving on social media that is causing harm to Teresa and Brandon.
Yes.
Okay. Um, okay.
No rebuttal for that.
I'm not gonna no, because like there are certain things that I know, like, you and I would probably just like go back and forth and there wouldn't
Oh
really be
yeah,
like
I
a
understand.
result. And so I'm just like, okay, like that's one of those things where I would continue to ask more questions and then you would feel like, well, I'm just repeating myself. So I
Okay, yeah, I get it. So what was next?
think the
Talking about
next thing we're gonna talk about Gypsy Rose. Because I'd asked you
the
about Gypsy, and you were like, "No, Queen, that is not the one. Not it for
ooh,
me."
Gypsy scared me.
Why?
Bro, she murdered her own mom. Listen, I
Okay,
get it. I get it. The
okay.
mom was very abusive. The mom was dead ass wrong.
Mhm.
But why was that the only resort?
I don't think so. And I will tell you, like, I have told Gypsy, like I told Gypsy myself, right? Like, what you did was so wrong. Like, that there were other ways that you could have gone about it. But I understand. I kind of feel like this sounds crazy, right? But I kind of feel like, in a sense of like Stockholm syndrome, like, you feel like this is the person that you cannot leave, but then you also feel like you don't have any other way out. I mean, really,
Exactly.
the only people that were there were Gypsy and her mom. They're the only ones that know exactly what was happening in that house, right?
Mhm.
Not just what was shown, which was where Gypsy's mom, I think, was like, I think the last video shown was Gypsy was in a wheelchair and her mom was like hauling her around, and everybody's like, "Oh, look, she's like really sick." Okay, well, if she was real sick, she wouldn't have been able to like push that girl all around with a wheelchair. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like there's still certain cracks, but I do feel like for some people that is no way out. I think the other thing is Gypsy watched nothing but Disney princesses, right? That was all she was watching. What happens with the Disney princess and when she finds her Prince Charming? What does the prince do to save the princess?
What, they're unaliving people?
Girl, he's slaying the dragon.
No, it's not the same. This is not the.
I'm telling you, I think in her mind it was
This is
gotta
not a
slay the
Disney movie. This is real life.
no, I hear you, but I think when someone is that's all they're watching, when somebody is just watching pure Disney movies, they don't have a sense of real life because they're in home doing the same thing over and over and over again. How do you get a sense of reality and fiction or not? Yeah.
Okay, so let me say this.
Okay.
I understand why she did what she did.
Okay.
I understand her mental might not have been there and what led to that.
Okay.
However, it's still scary. I mean, you know when I really got scared? When I
uh-huh.
heard they released the pictures of the
Uh-huh.
mom.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, they were saying how her cheeks were out and all that stuff. I'm like,
So
this is
it
diabolical. They sliced and diced her up. And then hearing that she planned it with her boyfriend, I'm like, so you did all of this. You could have escaped with your boyfriend. But then you gonna
well,
sit there and plan to take out your mom?
so I don't know if you remember, but there was like the thing where there was a one boyfriend that she had met at like a Comic-Con. Did you hear about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so the guy was in his 30s. At the time, Gypsy thought she was 15. She genuinely thought she was 15 at that time.
And how old
So
is she?
she was, I think, 19 at the time.
Oh,
18 or
okay.
19, I think. So she meets this guy at a Comic-Con and he convinces her to basically she could leave the house because Gypsy was looking through something and she found her birth certificate, which showed that she was like 19 and I want to say 19. And so she showed it to her mom. Her mom was like, I don't know what you're talking about, sort of. No, she didn't show it to her mom yet. She didn't show anything. She just told her boyfriend about it. And her boyfriend was like, oh, that means that you can escape. Like you can leave. You can
Mhm.
walk out, right? So she like packs her stuff, goes over there to this guy's house. Little does she know that this guy's like on parole, sleeping like on this like air mattress. Like she's with him, like took her mom's pills, her mom's like money, everything. Mom comes like knocking on the door because she found out where she was
Mhm.
and convinced her to come back. And I guess she said like, well, can I still see my boyfriend if I come back home? And her mom was like, yeah. And then she ended up telling like the boyfriend, she's 15 and if you keep talking to her or whatever, like I'll call the police on you or something. And then he just like dumped all communication.
Listen, when you fall down, you get back up. Just because you tried it once, like, gotta try it again and find another boyfriend. Escape again.
Right? But and did you know she found Nick on Christian Mingle?
What?
Yes, girl, on all of all the
See,
places that
I
she
don't know too many details about the story. I never watch any of the documentaries or anything like that, any of the shows or whatever they
Oh,
have out.
really? Oh, I
Mm-mm.
watched it all. I watched the good, the bad, like I watched all of it. But it was yeah, she met him on Christian Mingle. That's how she met Nick.
So
Doja.
is the internet turning on Gypsy? Because I feel like when she first came back, everyone was on her side and whatever, whatever. But then now I'm starting to see like people are like, why are we glorifying a killer? Like,
I think this has to do with the discussion that you and I had a bit ago, which is the internet is just completely different than what it was. Back
mm,
then, I don't believe that people had the resources that they do now, right? So the
no,
more
I'm
that
talking about
people
recently. Because when did she get out last year, right? Or the year before? I think it was
Ye
last year.
it was last year that she got out.
And when she was like, when she was getting out, I remember there was like a lot of posts like, "Oh, like we're celebrating Gypsy Rose is coming out of jail. Gypsy is coming home." Then now, I think when she started getting into it with her husband, the big guy,
Mhm. Yeah, Ryan?
now the internet is like low key turning on her.
I think
Because
it was
at
2
first the
years.
narrative it
Sorry, I
was
think it was
like
2 years.
you would essentially get attacked if you talk negatively about Gypsy.
Uh-huh.
And now I feel like it's like a free pass, and now it's okay to feel how you feel about Gypsy. You know what I mean?
Because of Ryan.
Yeah. Like people are kind of realizing, well, maybe what
I
she did
think
was
it was
wrong.
So I think it was funny because everybody's like, he lost his job because of her. And I was like, well, first of all, he was a child like teacher, like, right? So he was a teacher for children.
Mhm.
Um, he was allegedly speaking to his students about Gypsy. And the parent
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Yes,
whoa,
and the
whoa.
parents found out. They, like, were like, "He should not be talking to my kid about his wife," so on and so forth, and he kept doing it anyway, and that's allegedly why he got fired.
Wow.
Mhm.
I did not know about that.
Yeah, so
Why is he
that
talking to his kids about her? Like, why do they need to know? Like, that's so
Right.
weird.
I mean, it's so funny because I already told you what my wife does for a living, right? And so we
Mhm.
watched the show. We're watching the show. And so my wife is looking at Gypsy from that sort of like perspective. And she was like, they're not going to work out. And
Yeah.
I didn't tell her any of like the news or anything that's happening, right? I just had her watch it with me. And she's like, they're not going to work out because he's already too controlling when she's already been in an environment twice, right? Not just with her
Yeah,
mother, but in prison where she's told what to do 24/7. And
exactly.
now Ryan is telling her not to eat her french fries in the car, not to leave the apartment without him. And allegedly everybody's like, "Oh, it's for her safety. He cared for her safety." No, it was control. Um he didn't like the relationship that Gypsy had with her family. It was like this jealousy. It was weird. I don't know. That's why, like, if Ryan weren't so controlling, then I probably would have been like, okay, like Ryan's chill. Like he's just, but Ryan gave me it puts the lotion on its skin. And that is why I am not a stan of Ryan.
No, okay, so I can get with that. Maybe that relationship was not meant to work out,
Yeah.
but still, she still scares me. Oh, she's still scared. Maybe that's why he was controlling. He was probably scared too. You're not gonna slice me up. You're not gonna eat no French fries here. Like, that's probably why
Well,
he was.
it's not like she was pulling like a Jeffrey Dahmer or anything, you know? I think, like, to me, I think the only threat to her was her mom. Like, that was her only
Mhm.
threat. And again, we weren't in her shoes, we weren't in the house. We can't say, right? All we could go based off of his text messages and like interactions that they had on Facebook.
That's something I would just never understand. Why, out of all things, do you have to unalive the person? Like, I'm talking about for certain situations like this. Like, I
Yeah,
understand if your life is in danger and they're coming at you, then okay.
right.
But I don't know if you watch One Tree Hill.
A long time ago.
Okay. But in the show, mom was wanting to get a divorce from the husband.
Mhm.
And, he was doing too much. He was like, he wanted to use her for his political career and all this stuff. And instead of finding a way to divorce him, she's like, "Oh, I just have to kill him."
Like she didn't feel like she had any way out.
That's the only. I'm like, where's the problem solving skills? Like, why is that the
I
only thing?
I get that. Like I love to like read but I grew up, like I said, with my grandparents, right? So my nana always had me on Lifetime. Okay. I was always on Lifetime.
Yeah.
And all you see is like the husband or the wife, or majority of the time it's the husband or the wife feeling like they have to like unalive their spouse to get away.
Right.
But it was like because
That
they
insurance
wanted
money.
to cheat. Or like what was that guy's name? I can't think for the life of me right now. My mind is slipping. But um it was the husband that unalived his wife when she was pregnant.
It was on Netflix.
Girl, it is Scott Peterson. Scott and Lacey
It,
Peterson.
it was a situation on Netflix, and what was I gonna say? He was cheating,
Yeah.
and he felt like that was the only like, come on. Like, you already cheated, just leave her.
Or Chris Watts, same thing. He had kids. He had a wife who was pregnant, and killed, like, unalived his whole family.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. One
Girlfriend, all
day they
the
just
time.
lose their job and they just take it on their whole family. Like,
It's like it's
relax.
easier to be like, they're gone. Like, how can you sleep? Like, do you hear them at night? Like, how do you sleep comfortably?
No, I'm pretty sure it haunts them every night.
It
It
has
has
to,
to.
right?
It has
Unless
to.
they're just like sleeping comfortably, like Jeffrey Dahmer. Like he was like sleeping with his
It's
like
almost like I hate to say this, because you know how Christians, oh, everything's a demon. But
yeah.
like that's how I feel. I'm like, damn, like something has to possess them where they feel like this is the only way out. Or like those moms who unalive their children, like because they're so stressed out or going through postpartum. But like, why would like
Of
why is this
the
happening? Like this
things.
is
Yeah.
huh?
I don't I don't know. And I'm kind of thankful that I don't understand.
I don't think we are meant to understand. But
Yes, yes.
that's what makes me feel like humans are not that different from animals. Like we like to separate ourselves, but we're really not that different. Like
No,
especially when you see stuff like that, we are not different from a regular animal. Like
no. We are very much mammals. Like I don't care
yes,
like what anybody says. Like we are just like every other animal out there, like you said. It's
exactly.
just
We just have consciousness, but that's
yeah,
about it. That's about it. That don't mean they use their consciousness for good.
right. No, it's so true. It's so true. I'm glad that we just talked about the gypsy thing though, because I remember I've asked like a few people like, "Oh, what do you think?" And they're like super like it's just very like either you're on this side or you're on this side and there
Mhm.
is nothing in between. Like there's just nothing in between anymore.
Exactly. But for me, I'll say this again, it's scary. I mean, just slicing and dicing up your mama, oh my gosh, that was
Yeah,
diabolical. It's
I can't
scary.
imagine. I can't imagine like even that's just not something that I can imagine. But again, I've never felt like being at home and feeling like in that place
Exactly.
where
I've never been in that situation. Like my parents, they never abused me. I was never, controlled, forced to be put in a wheelchair, all that stuff. They weren't
right.
lying about my age. Like there was a lot. She went through a lot of trauma. I understand why she did what she did. No, actually, I don't understand, but I understand why she was there mentally. I understand her
Yeah.
mental state of being. However, different choices.
Yeah. I mean, and two wrongs don't make a right. Like, like at
Exactly.
the
Like
end of the day,
exactly.
like I get it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like I root for the gypsy today because I
Mhm.
do hope that things are better. She's moving into a positive direction. She has a daughter, and
Mhm.
hopefully she's taking the steps that's needed. Like it's still important to see a therapist, right? So I think it's
Exactly.
important for her to still see a therapist when she's going through certain trials with her daughter, how learning how to overcome them so that her therapist can give her the tools that she needs to be able to do that. Because unfortunately, she just can't go to her I mean, she can go to her stepmom, ask for help and stuff like that, right? But I think it's just a different situation
Yeah.
given given her history.
I do have a question though. Has she
Yeah.
ever talked about regretting it?
Yeah. She said it. She said, I wish that I hadn't gone down that avenue. Like I wish that I would have chosen a different path. She's for sure said it.
Okay. Okay, I
Yeah.
might see
But
her
it
in a
was funny
different light
because
now.
even when she said that, people were like, but she still didn't say I'm sorry. And I'm just like,
Oh
well,
yeah. I mean, she can't say sorry to her. I
yeah,
mean,
and I also feel like she's kind of like on that like double-edged sword, Like she's on the
mhm.
that double-edged sword where she can't win for losing, so it doesn't really it does
Exactly.
matter
There's
what
nothing
she
that
says,
she can
but
say at this point.
yeah. Yeah, she's still gonna they're still gonna hate her.
Oh, yeah.
But someone that I wanted to talk to you about as well was Jenelle. The charges that happened in, I think it was 2024? No, 2023. It was 2023 when that stuff went down with David and Jace. And Jace had alleged that that David had like choked him.
Yes. I was about
And
to say slap, but
yeah, I think he like, they said that he like grabbed, like strongly grabbed his shoulders, like in like a really like strong manner, and then yeah, that he put his hands on him.
so I wanted
And
to ask you is what did he say?
okay, girl. So, okay, shout out to the Ashley, okay? But the Ashley said that, okay, so it said, it is admitted that the minor child, Jace, has behavioral issues and mental instabilities and has threatened to harm himself and others and runs away from Janelle's home on a frequent basis. It is further admitted that David has had to constrain Jace from time to time in the past due to the minor carrying around weapons in his pocket and continuously attempting to run away from the care of Janelle.
What kind of weapons?
Probably like a pocket knife or something.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't really state what kind, because I'm assuming like, well, what else would it be carrying around? I mean,
What is North Carolina? He might have had that strap on him.
I mean, you never know. I mean, Jenelle was strapped when they were like when she was like having road rage. So right. You never know. But it said David admitted in his court documents that the Department of Social Services did open the case with the Easons after the incident with Jace. And he says DSS got involved due to Jace's allegations against David, but DSS has since closed and dismissed the case.
Oh. Did he admit to, so he basically admitted to putting his hands on him, but not in a choking manner.
Not in like a violent, yeah, like not in a way of harm, yeah.
Wow. And they must have had evidence to dismiss the case.
Yeah, because I don't know if maybe he was like disciplining him or something. And you know how like sometimes, because this is my assumption, right? Which I'm not saying that this is okay at all. So I want to make that very clear. But you know how like you'll see when you're at the store and you just see like a parent like handling their kid and they'll like grab them at the back of the neck to like guide them. Like out the door. You haven't seen that before? Girl, I was with my nana. I was with my nana.
You hold the cat, you grab the cat.
No. Just like grab them and like walk with them to like as they're guiding them out. I've seen that happen before, and I was at a store and I was with my nana and she was like, and you think I'm bad, like, you know.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
I've seen that before and I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. So he says due to the criminal charges, David agreed to go stay somewhere else until his attorney could have a judge modify the provisions so the defendant, David Eason, could return home to be with his family. Now, David claims that Jenelle was cold and indifferent towards him after he left the land, despite Jenelle alleging in her court filing that David was cold and indifferent towards her and the kids. Now, in his filing, he claims that the kids, including Jace, were mainly taken care of by him, not Jenelle, during their marriage. And then he also denies the claim Jenelle made in 2024, filing that she is an engaged parent who devotes her time and energy and efforts and resources to her family.
This is tough, but why do I believe him?
Right. But there's more, girl, because he says Jenelle only received custody of her minor child, Jace, a little over a year ago after living with his grandma for most of his life, which obviously is Barb, right? Mm-hmm. David wrote, adding that Janelle's middle son, Kaiser, has also spent time living away from Jenelle. So he says Kaiser has also lived with his biological father and grandmother at times and has not always lived with Jenelle, which I'm like, ooh. And I'm assuming that was because of the time that Jenelle took Kaiser to his grandma's. And she said that it was to spend time with David.
That's why I feel like it's true because of that situation.
Yeah. And then when she found out, when she found out that DSS was getting involved, she flew back and brought him back home.
I do not like David. Let me make that clear. But why
Yeah.
do I believe him?
Yeah.
Why do I believe him?
Like, I don't think that either of them are good parents.
Yeah, they both ain't shit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, neither of them are good parents to me in the sense of like we all saw. Now I get it because no matter what anybody says, like how they say like TV will like production or producers will spin things around to fit their narrative, right? Now, I remember watching David when he was on the land, like going like crazy, like hacking at this, like at the ground or something like that. And I think it was on like Mother's Day or something, or like her birthday. And he was like going crazy, and everybody's like, oh my God, he was violent. And I thought, he does seem like angry, but he looks like a typical man, like taking his anger out on the ground.
Very blue collar. Very blue collar.
Very blue collar. And but I like we've never seen like I remember, but I also remember a 911 call where David, I guess, was constraining Jenelle, and Jenelle told the 911 operator that she thought that her collarbone was broken by David.
Yes, I remember that.
And so it makes me think like, man, like times like that, it's what
I don't even know what to say. Because they both ain't shit.
no. Like,
I do believe that Jenelle had him taking care of the kids.
yeah.
Especially if he didn't have a job. He didn't have a job, right?
Did he have a job? I don't know.
Wasn't Jenelle saying like, "Oh, I've been taking care of you financially and all of this stuff"?
Yeah, but I think it was also because like she was doing like her OnlyFans, and then she was also like had her like own YouTube channel and stuff because she was kind of fired from Teen Mom already at the
She
time.
was making money on social media.
Yeah.
Wow, this is crazy to me.
And
Because
it's
I'm
funny.
like, because you know what? I had faith in Jenelle. I feel like she actually did change, but I feel like she just stayed the same. Like
Yes.
this all checks out to be the same Jenelle that we see on TV.
Yeah. Like I feel bamboozled.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, she's doing the thing, she's trying to be a better mom. It's not
Yes.
doing that.
Yes, because what happened? Her stories, like she's just always lying because
Yeah.
she had said on the show that she had August as her manager, okay? For
Ooh, hold
7
on. Before I forget, wasn't August taking care of the kids too?
girl. Yes. That's what he's claiming that that he
Well,
was
everybody taking care of the kids except for her.
Yeah, and then while they're taking care of the kids, she's like, "Why don't you love me?" And they're probably like, "Well, girl, because I'm tired."
Right. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my.
So this is what happened. She had August as her manager, who she now claims was not her manager.
Mm-hmm.
But she initially claimed that August was her manager and that she'd known him for 7 years, and that she was really surprised because David never got jealous of the relationship. But then 2 years prior to her leaving David, she was already forming a relationship with August.
Mm-hmm.
And then she hadn't met August. She didn't meet August until she like flew out.
Wait, so it was like an online kind of
Yeah,
thing?
she never met him in
Wait,
person,
I didn't know
girl.
about this.
Yeah, so when she uprooted her kids, she uprooted her kids for a man that she had barely met and known for like 5 months, I think.
And that's why the relationship fell so quickly, because you don't know this man.
Right.
And then
And they
you
had
have
like
even
a bunch of
kids with
911
him.
calls already.
Oh, August was going crazy. He was saying all types of stuff about Jenelle.
Mhm.
How she was, you know, I don't know if I can say it. Well,
Maybe we can
she had a couple of problems there.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this is what I said, this is what I've said before, so I'll go ahead and say it again, okay? I believe that Janelle has been looking for love for a very long time. I
Yeah.
believe that. I believe that Janelle didn't feel that she was loved, okay? Because her dad, even though her dad and mom, they were together for a little while, then her mom uprooted her kids and took them to North Carolina when they were originally like living in Pennsylvania.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because her accent. I'm like,
Yeah.
why does she sound like this? I'm like, this is not a Southern accent.
No. So she uprooted her kids from Pennsylvania to North Carolina. And granted, her dad could have made an effort to be in their lives, but it was like this claim that he tried to be in their life, but that Barb didn't let them. I kind of believe that Barb was like a little cuckoo, and I don't care what anybody says, okay? When a grown woman who is like in her 40s or 50s, I'm not an ageist, but I think she was like in her 40s or 50s when like Teen Mom was happening. And
Mhm.
she put itching powder in her boyfriend's clothes because he broke up with her to go leave with someone else. And she started laughing and said, "Oh, she goes, I put itching powder in his clothes so that he thinks that the girlfriend gave him crabs." And
Yeah,
she thought it was
I'm sorry.
funny.
I love Barb for that.
But like, if Barb's this way, what makes people think Janelle ain't gonna turn out if
Exactly.
not like worse, but like the same? Like,
You know, you know how I feel about Barb? She's just a typical boomer mom.
yes.
She's just giving typical boomer mom. Like, I don't think she was that bad of a parent, but when you would see the way she would yell at Janelle and just start cursing her out for no reason, I understand why Janelle is the way she is. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, I
But
remember.
another thing too, I
Uh-huh.
think it's the influence of maybe her friends that might have steered
Yes.
her in a more even worse direction, basically.
Well, Janelle wasn't a bad kid. And so I believe that because Janelle wasn't a bad kid. She was actually very smart, like got straight A's,
Mhm.
like she was doing very well academically. But it seemed like once she put herself in a position with certain people, because even her friends on 16 and Pregnant, even her those friends, you could tell those were like the friends, the goody two shoes of it, that they were kind of like, look, like we know in the beginning, they were like, we know you're gonna be that responsible mom, you're not gonna just go around partying and stuff. And then once they
Yeah.
found once they noticed that she was going out and partying, they were like, "What are you doing?" Like they were calling her out. Like, "What are you
No, I
doing,
didn't
girl?"
see none of that. I
Really?
think in 16 and Pregnant, she had the goody two shoes friends. But if you
Yes.
watched her on Teen Mom 2, the friends
Oh
weren't
no,
giving that. Like Tori and
no,
them,
no. Well, and I
they
think
were,
Tori was around the time that she met Kiefer, right?
yeah. But they've been like friends for a minute though before then, right? Or no?
Hmm.
But like they were best friends basically.
They were besties. Yeah.
So that's all I saw was those friends that were not a good influence. That's all I saw. I never seen the goody two shoes.
Really? Yeah.
Maybe I think maybe on 16 and Pregnant, which I don't really
Yeah.
remember the episode.
Yeah. It was like her friends were so disappointed in her because they were like, "You don't even like hang out with us." Like they were telling her in a sense like, "You don't hang out with us because we don't go partying and doing that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
But you have a kid, like you have to be responsible." And meanwhile, Janelle's putting feathers in her hair and not giving a shit. So
what's the Kesha concert?
yeah, but I have to see Kesha. Like what girl?
Man, that goddamn Kesha concert. I was like, she's willing to risk her whole thing, her whole life over a
Her
goddamn Kesha
whole
concert.
life for Kesha. That will
Wow.
never go unforgotten. Ever.
And then her and Kiefer. Kiefer. Kiefer, oh my god. I think I seen him recently
Uh-huh.
on one of the Reddit pages.
Yeah.
I think he's doing better. I feel like he was like clean for a
Yeah,
year or
like
something
he
like
announced that
that.
he
He has
has
like a daughter.
Yeah, he has a daughter now, and I
I was
hope
like,
he's doing well. But I remember when he was telling Janelle's mom, like he was telling Barb, "Oh yeah, I'm like a chef, so I could just basically get a job anywhere. Like I
yeah.
can walk in, they'll already hire me." And Barb's looking at him like,
I mean,
it's so
as a person who's worked in a restaurant, it's true to a certain extent, but you actually have to go walk in and get the job.
right. And so there was a time where he walked in, Janelle, because they were both, he and Kiefer were both looking for a job because they were staying with Barb.
Mhm.
And um, she went to go find a job as a server. He went to go find a job as a cook. She got the job as a server, and he didn't. He didn't get the job.
Yeah,
And
and then
he was like
didn't he catch an attitude?
so salty. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
he
so
was, like, jealous of her. I'm like, "What the hell?" That's a oh my god, that guy was a leech.
yes, yes, so bad, so
Oh my
bad. That
god, he was
yeah.
awful.
I just couldn't. I was like, wow, like that's the chosen one. That guy, that guy was the one that she asked him to roll down the windows because she wanted to talk. He was like, no, get
Was she
away. And she's
running
like,
after
but
him?
why? Yeah,
Mind you, it wasn't even his own car. Somebody had to come pick
right.
him up.
You
It's
know
so
how they say like
embarrassing.
it's like TLC no scrubs, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I don't want no
hanging out the passenger side of my best friend's ride. Yep.
Mhm,
Trying to
mhm.
holler. And Janelle was falling for that.
Oh my,
That
I
was
feel
crazy.
so but I mean, it made sense, like, when you think about their age, like, what, she was, like, 18, 19 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Oh my
Very
I went through the
impressionable.
same thing on that age.
Yeah,
Don't
very
talk about
impressionable.
it.
She ca
But I went through the same thing.
she came home, hickeys on her neck.
Oh
Bruh.
my god, like, because when you're that young, you just don't know. So if you don't have people telling you, or
Yeah,
like
you
even
don't
if
have somebody
someone
doing
tells
like
you,
a
you don't
spoon,
want to
like a
listen.
you remember the spoon or like getting like your lip gloss?
Right? You just don't know. Like you just be falling for all these like men who ain't shit. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh my god,
Giving
it's
it for love in
terrible.
literally all the wrong directions to this day.
Right?
To this day. And yeah, like it's just a part of me feels for her. I don't know why, but a part of me just feels for her. And I think it's because she genuinely wants love. And like I said, like I've said before, put that love into your kids because your kids love you,
Exactly.
like stop climbing underneath a man to look for love. Like just love your kids, you know?
And also, like, when you're too desperate for something, it's probably not going to be that good.
Mhm.
Like, you kind of have to let go. Maybe stay single for a while. Give yourself a break. Take a break from these men. Work on
Take like 5
yourself.
years. 5
Right.
years.
Like, take a break, work on yourself, and then you're more likely to attract a better person. But when you keep jumping from relationship to relationship, like, you don't even give yourself a break.
Right. Right.
Like,
And believe it or not, men, I don't know why it is, right? But men are actually like those bad, like trashy people that like want to treat you like so horribly. They are literally hardwired that way. And people
mm,
can't figure out why. They literally can read you like a book and know that you've been a person that's been traumatized.
and they'll prey on that too.
Yes, they
Like,
do.
it's almost like they wanna fix you, but not really fix you. They're just taking advantage of you. Like, they
Yes,
see how broken you are, they see how insecure you are, so they wanna take advantage of that.
absolutely.
But no, actually, I misspoke. For
Mhm.
women, when they see a broken man, they wanna fix that man.
That's true.
But for men, they like to prey on broken women so they could take advantage of them and get what they want out of the relationship.
Girl,
And
preach.
they'll suck you dry.
Literally, this is why, like, we've been calling them leeches.
No, like even me, I'm in a whole relationship. Like you would think I hate men, whatever. Even me in a whole relationship, I just feel like you have to decenter men. Like he's not my everything. Like I'm my own person.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I gotta take care of
Yes.
myself first, and then the more I take care of myself, the better I am to you. Like that's how I see
Absolutely.
it. But it's like when you're all about them, it doesn't work out. It never works out. Like,
No.
I think the man should like, the woman a little bit more, unpopular opinion, but I feel like those no, but there's studies that say those relationships work the best when the man likes the woman a little bit better. Like, I mean, a little
Really?
bit more.
Really? That's
Mhm.
interesting. I feel like like women that feel women that like easily get preyed on by these guys, like I feel like these women kind of like turn into like these chameleons, right? Because they want to appease that person so
Exactly.
bad that they're willing to like become these chameleons to appease them, but they're losing themselves in the process of that. And it's
And with
just
Janelle, it happened every time.
every
With
time.
Keeper, she was strung out. Keeper was
Str-
strung out, she was strung out too. With, what's his name? David? Oh
Nathan,
my god,
even
he bumped
Nathan,
me with the camo, with the Dracos. Same thing. I'm
living on
hunting
the land, on the swamp.
right. He turned right into that person. Like
Yes, it's so true. Like
it's
it's
because she
so
doesn't have her own identity.
right. And that's why I think she should take 5 years, like find yourself. You've never been
Mhm.
able to really find who you are and then really love that person, you know? Like
'Cause I don't think I've seen her take a break. Like this might be the long. No, I was about to say this might be the longest break, but she was with August.
mhm. Yeah, she hasn't
I,
taken a
I
break.
don't think I've ever seen her single. She
No.
always had a man.
Every time she's like, "Oh, I'm single. I'm loving my best life. Like I'm living my best life. I'm so great." Like right now you're single. You've been single for like what, a week? Oh, that's great. But you still have like a long ways to go, right? You still have like
Exactly.
four years, 12 months, so some odd days and some odd seconds. Like I feel like you really have to count the time, set an alarm clock, because if you don't put yourself first, you're not only damaging yourself, you're damaging like
Your
your
kids.
kids,
Hmm.
right? They see this. Your daughter sees this. Your daughter thinks that it is okay to be in these toxic relationships. Your
Yeah.
sons are growing up to think it is okay to treat someone this poorly, or they could also become the person that is battered because they've seen their mom be the battered person. Because
Hmm.
men can also be battered. I don't think that females realize that. Like men
Oh
can also
no,
be, you know,
I'm sure.
yeah.
Like, ooh, I don't want to talk about it. I was about to share a story.
Whole
I
other
was about
conversation,
to
yeah.
say,
But it's so true, and
men,
I don't think, like,
yes,
a
men are
lot
the
of people
victims.
Ye
Men can be victims as well. Yeah,
yeah, I don't think that people understand that, and so, you're setting the tone for your kids. You are setting the tone. So what do you
exactly.
want your kids to see? What do you want your kids to grow up to idolize, right?
That's why
Because
I always like, ooh, I'm gonna give the world to my kids because they've completely changed my lives. Like
Mhm,
because of them, I'm like, no, I gotta get it together. Like
yeah,
I cannot traumatize these kids. Like, I was like, I gotta do everything I can, like, everything in my power to get my mental health right, so I don't
mhm,
pass it on to them. Because a lot
right,
of times you don't even realize, but you're passing on that anxiety, you're passing on that depression onto them because, like, wh what else do they know? They're learning from you, they're watching you, they're mimicking
absolutely,
your actions. So if you're sitting on your couch
absolutely,
all day scrolling on TikTok, what are they gonna do? The same thing.
the
Like,
same thing, and then they're gonna
so
scold it because they're on their phones all day.
right. So have you seen Temptation Island?
I have not seen it, no.
Alright, let me break it down for you. So the
Okay,
concept of Temptation Island is you have 4 couples, and all of these couples, their relationship is on the rocks.
mhm,
All of them have experienced infidelity in some type of way. 3 out of the 4 relationships, the men have cheated, and then one of the couples, the woman cheated. Okay?
okay,
You're with me now.
I'm listening.
So now they're put on this island where they have to see if they can resist temptation and to see if the relationship is going to last after this. This is the
So
most
they're on
diabolical
so
thing.
they're on an island with the opposite sex. Are
Mhm.
they like is it like one
So
person with like a bunch of women, like a man with like a bunch of women and they just like
so
blinders
the
on,
4
can't
men are gonna go to a separate villa with 12 women, and the 4
okay.
women are gonna go to a separate villa with 12 men. All of them. I don't want to expose the show. And here's another thing. They have these bonfires where you could see what your boyfriend or your girlfriend is doing at their villa. Oh,
No
this
way.
was a game changer.
I gotta watch this.
All I
I
got
have
to
to
say is
watch this.
the men ain't shit. The men ain't shit. They are terrible. I mean,
Really?
they barely like I'm like, "Damn, this all it takes?"
Well, what are the girls doing? Like, what are they just like walking in bikinis or
The women, they're literally just connecting with each other. Like, the 4 women that are wait, who are you talking about? On the men's side? Like,
on the
the
men's
one that
side?
are
Yeah.
they were throwing themselves at the men.
Oh,
All
wow.
types of things, twerking on them, flirting. They had a lingerie night where all the women were in lingerie. Mhm.
Not
I'm
a
like, "You guys
lingerie
didn't even
night.
try to, like, make this make this wholesome."
Was there like one guy that was like, you know what? I'm going to my room. Like, I'm
Only one of the which is one of the guys where the woman is actually the one that cheated on him within the first month of their relationship.
wow.
He's the only one who hasn't, like, done something so far. But you know why he hasn't done something so far?
Why?
Because the women are not attracted to him.
That is so sad.
The girls that he likes, they don't like him.
That is so sad.
It's so sad.
That poor I mean, obviously, like, none of the guys should be cheating, right? But how sad that they just didn't find him attractive, and that is why he's able
I
to
mean,
resist
he's been
temptation.
trying his best. Like, they don't give a damn about him.
Oh, no.
So now, because you can see what the other people are doing,
Uh-huh.
so when the women saw what their men were doing, now they're acting out. But
Of course.
unfortunately, of course, there's a pick me woman on there. And she feels like, she's such a great woman. How dare he do this to me? Oh, I'm not going to stoop to his level and do this and that. And, he's going to come back to me. Those girls don't have what I have. He's just going to come back to me. Mind you, this man done had a threesome.
Oh my god.
A whole threesome.
Yo, when we get off this pod, I am telling my wife, like, we have to watch this.
Oh my God. It's so diabolical. I'm like, what kind of show is this?
A messy ass one. That sounds like some good tea. Like, that sounds so crazy. Oh my
Yes.
god. And I don't know why these couples decide to go on these shows knowing dang well it ain't gonna
I'm
work.
like, are these relationships even real?
Yeah,
Because, like,
because you
why would you
oh,
sign yourself up for this?
also, why would you stick around after somebody cheated on you after a month of dating?
But that one, but that one is like, you know what I mean? It was only a month.
We
No,
were
but
all I
she
didn't
was
know it was that
trying her best.
serious. Yeah.
Okay, but look, they decide to stay with each other, and like he's holding on to it. But at that point, just break up with her. If
Just
you're
let it
gonna
go.
hold on
Yeah.
to what she did in the first month, let it go.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because
Make like
like
Elsa and let it go.
no, but no, but she has been really remorseful about it. She don't make any excuses, no nothing. Like she's been trying her best to give him all that she has.
Like to
But
build
like,
that trust back.
yeah, to build the trust back.
Okay.
But he's still really insecure about it. Like, oh my god, I can't wait till you see it. Because
Oh
even
my
like the slightest thing that she says, like he got so insecure. I'm like, relax. Because I think she's no, I'm gonna let you watch it, but
okay. Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch after each episode. I'm be like, what?
no, the show is it's only 10 episodes. I still haven't finished it though. I still haven't finished it.
Oh no, we're gonna. I'm gonna binge it. I'm definitely gonna
Because
binge
I
it.
really want to see what that girl's gonna do. Because this man then had a whole threesome, and even the conversations that he was having was so inappropriate. On the first night, there was a girl licking his neck. And oh, I forgot to say this. All of them had an agreement that basically physical touch is off limits.
Okay.
They all all the men broke the
Oh,
agreement.
they all failed.
They all failed. Except for the one that nobody likes. Oh my god.
Wow. I'm
And then
so, like I can't wait to watch this show
no, I
because
want
I like, when there's, like when I'm getting to, like, reunions for, like, reality TV show like Housewives or something, right? And it's starting to, like, slow down. My wife is like, "Well, what do we watch?" And so then we'll start watching random stuff like Tool Time, right? That we haven't seen since we were kids, like, watching some, like, random show
right.
just to keep ourselves busy. So I'm excited to see this, and then hopefully we can catch up and talk about it
Yes.
on the next episode because I really am excited now.
So here was another thing that I know you were scared to talk about.
Oh, no.
You ever heard of Jamila Bell? So Jamila Bell is in some hot water in these TikTok streets.
So can you explain who Jimmy LaBelle is?
She's a big content creator in the black space, if you get what I
Okay.
mean. On
Okay.
Black TikTok.
All right.
She does like yapper content, kind of like comedy content here and there, but
Mhm.
mostly just yapping.
Okay.
Do you know who
Okay.
do you know who Jasmine Crockett is?
No.
The congresswoman from Texas, bleach blonde, bad build, butch body.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
When I
So
tell you, I stay out of, like
I get it. But Jasmine Crockett is a congresswoman from Texas,
Okay.
and she was in some hot water herself from these right wing conservatives. This is diabolical because if you're not from Texas, this might be a culture shock to you.
Okay.
But she referred to the governor as Hot Wheels. If you don't know who the governor is in a wheelchair, and everybody in Texas calls him Hot Wheels. And I'm talking white, black, Mexican. If you're on the right, if you're on the left, they all call him Hot Wheels.
Wow.
So she was in some hot water because they were like, "Oh, you're an ableist," and da 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 da. But the heat that she was catching was from the conservatives.
Okay.
All the people on the left were like, "Why are you guys attacking her if this is like a common thing that everybody says in Texas? Like, if you're from Texas, you might not understand, but everybody says this."
Yeah.
So Jamila comes on and she was kind of parroting some of the stuff that the right wing was saying. And you know what I mean? Like, as a black woman, like you're essentially tone policing her.
Okay.
Now, this is when Milani comes into play, and she was like, "Girl, your take was hot trash, and you need to educate yourself." So now they've been going back and forth. I mean, and this has caused a whole bunch of chaos on TikTok.
Oh my god.
Yes. I want to hear your thoughts about it.
Well, who knew that there was so much drama, like, in the political
What?
world?
I mean, so
Like,
much.
all I do listen, if anything is about TikTok, it is, "Oh god, like, what is being changed now that I have to, like, worry about?" Like, that is me, like, I'll tell my wife, like, "Oh, just so you know, this is this is what's changing on this date." And she's like, "Oh god, okay." Right?
Yeah.
So, it's so interesting to hear, like, this aspect. I mean, if this congresswoman is calling someone what he is known to be, I think the thing is that it's maybe, like, a little unprofessional just because
Yes.
you're in the political aspect, so that's not the kind of, I guess, party that you want because you and I have stated, right? Like, when you're on a certain platform, words matter, right? So
Mhm.
I feel like when you lose respect um for someone that's also in that political race or what have you, then people that are for you can also tend to have like that lack of respect because, well, now we're being petty instead of getting down to the nitty gritty. I guess that's what I'm taking from it.
Yeah, so that was exactly what Jamila was trying to say.
Mhm,
But the reason why so many people disagree with her
mhm.
is because the right doesn't do that. They say whatever's on their mind. Whether they're insulting somebody, they don't give a damn.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of people been saying they want Democrats to do the same thing because they're always, on their high horse and taking the high road. They're like, bro, F that. Like, get down and dirty with them. Like, we're tired of this, morally correct or no, politically correct. We're tired of this. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, now that she kind of does what people been asking for, she's
Now
receiving a
she's
lot
being
of hate.
shamed for it.
And then on top of that, a lot of people are saying, because she's a dark skinned black woman, we're always told, you know, behave, be polite, be professional. And then, these other people could do the same thing that we're doing. Like, it's like we have to work twice as hard. You know what I mean? To like get our
Yes,
point
and
across.
I
Like
feel
she's been doing her job. She's been focusing on her policies. She's been doing what she has to do. But now that she
yeah.
says one wrong word, she's catching all this heat.
No, I hear you. It's funny because as you said that, I was like, "Oh, wow, I'm literally doing what I have been taught to do, which is
Yeah.
to like present yourself in a good manner, right? Like be
My
able
parents,
to
my Haitian parents, they told me the same thing.
yeah, like
Always have to
you
look presentable,
always girl, you better not be walking into
proper.
Walmart with pajamas on, like
Mhm.
like there is just a certain way, but it's very true. It's very true because I've had that happen like my whole life, right? Like I've had people that would say, "Oh wow, like you know how to, speak very well." And I'm thinking,
Mhm.
"Well, okay, thank you." Right? But at the same time, but I I've realized that it is true just because people are of color, they're not allowed to have a moment. But the
Yes.
moment that they do have a moment, it is exploded into something that's outrageous, right?
Yeah,
Versus
exactly.
someone that could say something that is not of color and it's swept under the rug.
That's exactly what's been going on and like why this become like such a big debate on TikTok. Because it's like, okay, like, are we gonna continue to tone police ourselves? Because we know damn well, no matter what, if she wouldn't have said it, if she said it, she was still gonna catch some heat.
Mhm.
And not only that, if somebody else were to say it, I mean, I believe Trump had literally like made fun of a disabled person on live TV on national television. He didn't catch
Yikes.
no heat, but then she refers to the governor as something that everybody else calls him, and like it's like a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was basically the whole thing. Now,
Wow.
I don't think because a lot of people were saying that Jamila is a colorist because they were saying if it was somebody else, she wouldn't have said that. But because this is a dark skinned black woman, this is why, she had that take on her. Which I disagree. I don't think Jamila, well, I know you don't know her content, but I don't agree that she's a colorist. Like, I think
Okay.
they're
And
taking it too
and
far.
Jamila is a person of color?
Yes,
Okay.
but she's light skinned.
Okay.
So that adds a factor. And before, she was also under some hot water a few months ago
Mhm.
when somebody had referred to her as a colorist. So, like, they're kind of bringing that same thing back up again.
I see. I
Yeah.
understand. I mean, it's so funny because I remember I was talking about Garcelle from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and people, mainly like black women, right, were coming at me like, "How dare you speak on black people's business?" And I'm like, "Well, because I am black, number one." But that shouldn't matter. Like, I should be able to have an opinion. It's a show. I like
Right.
Garcelle, right? I may not like certain things that she does, and I think it's just because anytime I've noticed that a person of color comes in, it's like she feels like she has to compete with them to kick them off of the show but then
Mhm.
she's also trying to compete for affection of a white woman that could care less about her.
Right.
So that's like my take. I like Janelle, or not Janelle. I like Garcelle,
For
right? Like
sure.
I like Garcelle. I am all about like women empowerment and like going
Mhm.
from the ground up, like I'm all about that. So um but I also do feel like there are certain things like for whatever reason the internet makes me feel like I'm not allowed to talk about, right? Because I'm not
So
exactly their complexion, which is crazy.
I've had that same critique, and honestly, it did make me self-reflect a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So a lot, and that was the last video I made about a black woman, I believe.
Okay.
Last year, there's a big content creator named Fanita, and she was under a lot of heat. And then at first, it was like okay, like it was like bullying her fans, like her supporters. She was bullying them, talking down on
Oh,
them. Oh, you're
okay.
broke, I'm rich, da da da. Look at me. And I was like, no, you're dead ass wrong. Like that's not
Right.
cool. These
Right.
people put money in your pocket. You don't sit there and talk down on them.
Yeah.
Then when other people started to make videos in defense of Fanita, and it's like, damn, like can we give our people some grace? Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So ever since then, I was like, ah, you know what? I just leave it alone. Anything that when it comes to talking about black women in particular, the men,
Mhm.
whatever, because you know how I feel
Yeah,
about men.
yeah. Yeah, no,
Um,
yeah. What
but black women in particular, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let other people handle it. I'm gonna stick to my little topics, my little tea mom stuff. Like even when
Yeah.
I talk about Cheyenne and Ashley, I be careful. I'm like, you know what? Maybe not say anything too crazy because we
Yeah.
already have it. We already have it rough enough. It's already
Girl,
tough. It's
really?
already tough enough for us. It's so hard to even.
And it's so funny because I'm cool with Ashley. Like me and Ashley are cool, but I say one thing and people are like
Bro,
coming
I
for the
don't agree
jugular.
with everything Ashley does, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? I do like her. I appreciate what she's doing on the show, how she takes care of her daughter. Let me leave her alone.
Yeah. So when people are in my comments like, "I hate how you don't talk about Ashley." Listen,
But she
I
also doesn't do like a lot of self-inflicted stuff, like self-sabotaging, where like we have to talk about her.
yeah, I
You know
feel
what
like
I'm saying?
she's doing things so like such like in a healthy manner, like I feel like she does represent women that have gone through those traumatic experiences that she's gone through with Bar. Like I feel like she's handling them very well. She's trying to make sure that, women aren't held, especially black women aren't held to a certain stigma, right?
Yes,
That just because you have been through this, right? Or just because your significant other has put you in this position, right? That doesn't mean that you can't set healthy boundaries for you, for your daughter. Like she's still going to school. She's trying to become a nurse. Like she's
exactly.
doing the thing. So I applaud Ashley for that. But God forbid I say that on the internet.
No, another thing too, I didn't know how many people hated Cheyenne. I was like, whoa.
Me
I feel
either.
about Cheyenne.
I don't know why people don't like Cheyenne.
I was like, I really like her. I used to watch her YouTube when she used to post videos on there. I was like, I love Cheyenne. Like she's showing us in such a good light. Like seeing a black family that's like held together like that, and they have money. They're not
Yes.
struggling. They're not poor. Like she's showing us in a different light, and so is Ashley. I think all the black moms on there, they're doing well for themselves.
They're doing very well.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, why do they get so much hate?
You know what's
Like,
funny is I don't not like Ash or Cheyenne. I like Cheyenne. I just don't like that her man don't got a job. Like for me, for me, okay, like how are you gonna be on probation and then wonder why you can't be a firefighter? Homie, like you're still on probation, or like what do you mean? And then
no, I
he's like,
really right. You know
he's
what
just
I
job
think too?
hopping.
Doesn't he come from money?
I don't know if he does or not.
I think they got money. That's why it's not a big deal.
Well, the thing is that he's now working for Cheyenne's father. So he's
Mhm.
basically taking over the family business. But that's because Cheyenne's daddy got him the job.
Hey, listen, he gotta do what he gotta do.
I mean, snag the
He has to
bag.
put food
Like
on the table.
you he like wrapped, but I also, and I don't know if this is right or not right. So don't quote me on this, guys. Like I have no idea, but this is just pure speculation based off of what I've seen. Watching the show back and being able to see that Zach really thought that her name just left the building in my brain. Cheyenne's daughter.
Ryder.
Ryder. Zach genuinely thought that Ryder was his. Because if when they got married, listen, when they got married, he even said that when they brought, he was there during the birth. He was there, like, right, like helping
Mhm.
Cheyenne through everything. It wasn't until a DNA test was done that she found out that Ryder wasn't Zach's. I think she had like 3 different baby daddies that she potentially thought that it was. But
Yeah, 'cause
you
I
also,
thought it was between 2 people, Corey and, some other guy that wasn't Zach.
yeah, they said it was like 3. They said it was like Zach, some other guy, and Corey.
Oh, Cheyenne was getting
So that's
busy.
why I have that's why I have this like speculation. Don't quote me on it. I could be completely wrong, but
Oh,
that's what
wait, this is speculation.
this speculation.
Oh, okay. Because I was about
This
to say, I think Cheyenne did tell the truth about, like, it was between the 2 guys,
she
but
did say, yeah.
because Zach was so involved for those first 6 months, and I believe throughout the pregnancy, he might have
Mhm.
felt a little bit entitled to Ryder, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I guess
Because
maybe
taking
that's
care of
what
a
did.
baby, like dealing with a pregnant woman and taking care of a baby, that shit is not easy. So if you doing all
No.
that work and you helping and you doing all that stuff, you might, you know what I mean? Now when the
All
real
that
dad
work.
he wants to come and take over and all, girl.
And then you've already built like a relationship with like the dad, the stepdad, like the
Mhm.
mom, like all of that, right? And then for her to just be like, well, sorry, but this is Ryder's father, so he has to
Yeah.
be included. So for Corey to walk in, right, when Ryder's already, what, at that point she was like a year old, a year,
No, she was 6 months.
6 months, really? I thought she
Mhm.
was like a year old. Okay, so he's stepping in, right, and Cheyenne's family, which healthily welcomed Corey into like the family dynamic. I can understand Zach's frustration in that sense for sure.
Yeah.
But going
I
back
think.
to,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, just going back to my original thought, like, I think that he was like, look, like, now that I got you, I'm gonna snag you tight, sealed,
Mhm.
no way for you to leave.
'Cause I do feel like in that situation, there were 2 levels of right.
Mhm.
Zach was maybe 50% right, but Cheyenne was 100% right for what she did. Because at the end of the day, Corey is a dad and he has to feel secure in that spot. So, although it might be kind of sad, but yes, you might have to throw Zach to the
She
side a
has to
little bit.
do what is the most healthiest thing for her daughter. Right.
Yes. And then another thing I was thinking though, maybe she could have went about it a different way. Maybe like slowly, gradually, like don't make him like do things to make him feel included because like she was doing a lot of things to make sure Corey was involved and included. Maybe do a little bit of stuff for Zach too, where he, you know what I mean? He doesn't feel left
Yeah.
out.
Well,
But
even when like they broke up and you could tell that Cheyenne like really wanted it to work between her and Corey
mhm,
was just like not having it. It was kind of like he was like, "No, girl, like this was just like a one-time thing between you
yeah,
and
'cause she wanted that, like, you know what I mean? That fairy
the
tale,
family." Yeah.
you're with your baby daddy, like you guys gonna get married, all that stuff. She dodged a
Yeah.
bullet with that one.
But she shouldn't even feel bad because Taylor, right? Taylor ain't even getting a ring.
Right. And the way he treated Taylor when they first got together, I was like,
Mhm.
Taylor did all of that. She spit on that girl because remember he was with another girl, which because remember he was with another girl before he got with Taylor, Alicia.
Uh-huh.
Did you see them on that
No.
show?
No.
Oh, you don't
This
know
was
that
on the
one?
challenge, right?
No, wait. You see Corey be with too many girls. 'Cause I think it might have started on the challenge.
I think it happened on
But
the challenge, and at that point, I wasn't watching the
but what
challenge.
the show I'm talking about is called X on the Beach.
Oh, I didn't
And
watch that
basically,
either.
a whole bunch of people come on the show and your exes come in one by one. And multiple exes might come. But you also might be falling in love with another girl who's in the house. So that's what happened. Him and Taylor, what I mean, they started to get together, they started to like each other and all that stuff. But he before he left to be on that show, he
Uh-huh.
was just with his ex, saying, "Oh, like, you're gonna be a good stepmom," and all of that stuff, like promising her things and all that. Yes. Then guess who's on the show? They bring the
The
ex
way
that he was just saying all that stuff to. So now the ex and Taylor are in the same house and they're fighting. Like Corey was really pushing the ex to the side and like trying to be with Taylor,
right.
but it was really fucked up. It's almost like I don't know if he said this, but it's almost like he just told the ex I love you, and then like what a couple of days later you just got on the show, you're already with another girl. So I feel like that's what happened. And then Taylor was fighting for her man. She spit on that girl. It was a whole thing. I'm like, God damn.
Taylor, you know what's funny? It's like this is the one thing, okay, is that something that like because I have like 4 brothers and something that they've like I've spoken to them, I've spoken to like a bunch of other people, right? Like friends, stuff like that. And all of them have said like when when you know that you want to marry that person, you just
Mhm.
right? Like you know immediately if you want to marry that person or not.
I'm like, why is he stalling?
I don't know if because okay, so he said on social media because he was so mad that everybody was telling him like to stop propose. Like he was like, "Stop telling me to propose." Blah, blah, blah. He was saying that he wants to be able to give Taylor everything that she deserves when he proposes and like giving her like this special like grand wedding and stuff like that. So he's saying that that's why he's not proposing. But I'm like, you go to the challenge, you go make your money. You've been on reality TV. You're telling me that you don't have enough bands, okay, to give this girl the wedding that she deserves by now?
And also, that's a selfish thing because you're saying it's about her, but what she really wants is the marriage. So it's really about
Right,
you. You're the
right.
one that wants to do all this extra stuff. All she wants is a ring. Just give her the ring.
Just give her the ring. Just give her the ring.
Like, but that's what I'm saying. You don't really want to be married like that.
No, he doesn't.
And
And
did you watch that show? Yeah, what they call it, the Family Vacation, Teen Mom
did I?
Family Vacation.
No, I think I skipped it.
Whoa, oh,
I
you
skipped
missed
it, but I did
out.
see like the biggest thing. Like I did see like the big clip where Cheyenne and him were fighting because she wanted to be engaged, and they were like, right? They were like fighting because she wanted to be
Oh, you mean
engaged.
Taylor and Corey?
Taylor and Corley, yeah.
Yes. Like she was boohoo crying and like, oh my god, he was being such an asshole too. Because like at some point he like fake proposed. No, this guy is diabolical. He like fake proposed and he was like, yeah, just kidding. He ain't shit, man.
Why she has stayed with this man, like you've had not one but 2 kids, right?
Right,
Knowing that this man does not want to propose to you. Why?
right.
Like, why do these why and this goes back to again, why do these females put themselves in these positions, right? And I know some people are gonna be like, you're not being a girl's girl, right? Because it's his fault. He's the one that's probably stringing her along, which is probably true. But at some point in time, you have to wake up, right?
Yeah.
And be like, strong enough, right? Like, get the scissors, cut it.
It's like I understand her. I don't know because like you don't know them personally. Like you don't know what he does for her and like maybe
Yeah.
what they're talking about behind closed doors. So I'm wondering, like, if it's a situation like that where he's a decent enough guy where they can stay together,
Yeah.
but it's like, damn, it's still that ring though.
I mean, right now she's not even asking to
It's
get
like,
married. She's just asking for the commitment with a ring.
right? It's like that's the only thing that he's not giving her. Like, I wonder if he's doing everything else. He's a good dad. He's doing what he has to do. He's bringing in the money. But that ring, like, come on, y'all got they done bought a house. Like,
Yeah, he gave her a house before he gave her a ring.
right. Oh, nah, nah, nah. Especially in California, that shit's probably $1 million.
But you know what though? In California, once they've been together for a certain amount of time, she gets 50-50.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he can keep playing that mess all he
Right,
wants because she's just like, that's fine. But once that clock ticks, I get 50-50.
Mm.
Unless because they're not married, so it's not like she had to sign a prenup. It's like common law or something like that.
I was
So
about to say because Texas has the same thing.
yeah, California has
Texas
the
has the
common law.
same
So
thing.
I don't know if it's either 7 or 10 years. So either 7 or 10 years that they've been together and
Mhm.
common law, baby. So she's like,
That
you
7
don't
is
have
coming up. I think
yeah.
they've been together for 6 years. That 7 is coming. Damn, 6 years? Ooh.
Let me double check um common law in California. Common law, marriage, uh
This thing went better, way better than I expected.
yeah. But
I
no,
think it
it's
was
it's
okay.
saying no. California doesn't recognize it anymore, I guess.
Oh, they took it out?
Yeah, so it looks like it's a no.
Oh, well, she should
Well,
out of luck. She should out of luck, girl. Well,
yeah, good luck then. Because I'm
look
pretty
at that
sure
ring then.
I could have sworn, yeah, they have to live with each other for a length of time, but I guess it's not in California. I could have sworn years ago it was, but I guess it's not anymore.
They might
Should
have
look
had
that up.
it and then they changed the law. But I know in Texas, that thing's still going on strong.
I mean, in
Oh,
Arizona, they still have a law that it's illegal to have a donkey in the bathtub. So
what?
why
What
that
did
would
you
be a
say
thing,
is
I don't know. So
well,
weird. But
is there anything else?
no, I think that was all that we decided to cover, but this was a lot of fun for our first go around.
This was awesome.